I had already decided to go big multifamily. So saving 20, 30, 40 grand for down payment is not going to work. Right? So we're talking about $1 million properties, and that's nothing. Second of all, I look these people, and all the people who are closing the big multifamily deals are from this 20% of the group, not this 80% of the group. I'm like, why do I listen to you when the closers are telling me that I should join? My first deal was 44 unit multifamily apartment in Lawrence, Kansas. And that was first JV deal. After learning and understanding the initial part of the how to do syndication and how to do multifamily, actually I networked more and ended up joining a mentorship group. It was Jake and Gino, and also MIH Mastermind, right? These two groups are another, just great guys, right? Not only in terms of education, but also networking too. I mean, there's so many great multifamily investors out there, including Michael Blank, Jake and Gino, and then Marco Barbaro from MIT Mastermind, Hadaro Kivi. These are all, to me, like mentors for my journey. So I joined the Jake and Gino and MIT Mastermind because to not only educate myself, but to network with other multifamily investors. So I met all my partners through that group. And that was my initial goal when I joined the group. And then another initial goal was to close my first deal in 2020. So I joined around late February of 2020, when right before a pandemic shuts down everything. But it didn't stop me. I continuously networked, did about over 200 Zoom calls like this one-on-one throughout 2020 because I had so much time, right? I didn't have to go to the office. I was stuck at home. I'm really sorry for those who love the lost ones, but to me, it was like more of disguised blessing, because I went all into education and networking on Zoom and taking actions. And on the road about it's like 50 to 70 deals to find this one deal, got it under contract in September. And then we closed it in December 2020.
I love how you said that you had to underwrite 50 to 70 deals to get to that one deal, because so many people, I feel, give up way too soon. And you have to take small, and I know that people say this all the time, you have to take small actions every single day. If you don't give up, you will be successful. Even when it gets, and you got to be your why as well. So I'm going to rewind really quick. You mentioned the value of masterminds, and I try to educate my colleagues, my community, of how important it is to be mentored in a mastermind. So how would you say, one, that has helped you, and what would you say to people who are in the beginning stages of discovering this sector, how the masterminds can accelerate them? Because they see, I think, the cost of it or what's entailed, and they just want to walk away. I would love to hear you elaborate on that.
Sure. I have a great short story about that. So
let's hear it. We love stories.
Right. When I was still on the fence of whether I should join the mastermind or mentorship program or not, I spoke to many different people on biggerpockets.com about mentorship program. And I'm not sure how many, but more than 20 people. About 80% of the people told me, Joseph, look, by spending 20, 30, 40 grand, what you're going to be learning is out there for free. Like, it's on the YouTube video. You can listen to podcasts, buy 10, 20 bucks, spend 10, 20 bucks to buy a book and read it. And you're going to be essentially learning the same thing. Why don't you spend 20, 30, $40,000 as a down payment and buy a property and actually do the work and then learn? I'm like, that's a point, right? It's a legitimate reasoning, right? Not to join. Okay, all right, let me speak to other people. And then there were 20% of people who told me that, Joseph, joined. You're gonna meet amazing people. It's gonna expedite your journey, and you will have a great mentors who, as a fallback, you can always go and ask their experience, wisdom, and all that, right? So I said, okay, this guy's have also point. And then I had a moment of, just going through the due diligence of myself, and then ended up deciding to join the mastermind based on two reasons. One, by then I had already decided to go big multifamily. So saving 20, 30, 40 grand for down payment is not going to work. Right? So we're talking about $1 million properties, and that's nothing. Second of all, unlock these people, and all the people who are closing the big multifamily deals are from this 20% of the group, not this 80% of the group. I'm like, why do I listen to you when when the closers are telling me that I should join, right? And then I started realizing the language that they were using, how the 80% of people were using, it's essentially same thing, free. It's a free material. You could learn it. Why do you waste your money? Things like that, as opposed to the language that this 20% of the group was using was, you're going to meet amazing people and network, and the experience, you will expedite. You see the difference, right? So to me, that was what kind of touched me. Like, okay, essentially their mindsets are too different. And I realized after joining the group, it is true. My mindset was aligned with this 20% of people. And the more I dealt with other people through networking, I just can't be partnering up with this 80% of people, because essentially we're talking a different language.
Absolutely phenomenal, because I always tell people, and I'm sure people have heard me say this before, if you're the smartest person in the room, if you're the most successful person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Oh, yes.
You're in the wrong room. I'm telling you, because I could speak personally too. I am part of Brad Sumrock's Millionaire Multifamily Investors. I'm part of Grant Cardone's. I'm part of Michael Blanc's. There's Rod Khalif's Warriors programs. And it truly accelerates and cuts the time down for you to be successful. And the more successful you are, the more you can give back to your community and any passion projects that you have. So you don't listen to people who aren't doing this, you guys. Stop talking to your friends and family that have not done this journey. Talk to the people who are successful in this journey, okay? And
Exactly.
yeah, to elaborate on that, you brought up the money mindset. So many people live in a world of scarcity and feel like, if I'm super successful, then the other person's not going to be. How did you get comfortable talking about money? Because we're talking about millions of dollars here. How did you get comfortable having those conversations?
Right. Yeah, you touched it upon a good point, because coming from an Asian background, where talking about money is kind of taboo, even among the families, right? And also having a Christian background, where we don't really talk about money. Making
Right. They
money,
think it's
money
rude.
is right, right. And it is true that I had a hard time to justifying talking about money in public with friends. And I think the idea I had was, like, why? Like, if you focus on why, not focusing on the money in and of itself, then you see the light. Like, oh, okay, money is just a tool, right? If you are just chasing the money for the sake of making it, I think essentially you're losing the purpose. You're not gonna be able to fulfill your goal. But you got to see the money as a stepping stone or goalpost for the next goal towards the vision, and as a tool for you to be able to realize your other goals and whys and visions. Then now you can proudly talk about how you're successfully reaching your goals, and then the money kind of comes to me as a reward. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does. 110% completely. And so you also touched on purpose and not only doing this for the money. So that being said, because that's what I've also noticed, if you're only chasing it for the money, when it gets hard, you're going to walk. So what is your purpose? What do you see for you, for Yosef, Lee, and your two daughters, 5-10 years from now? What keeps you driving?
So I have three whys I time to time share. First why is about myself. So you got to be healthy yourself and stand firmly, so that you could be able to take care of your next tier, who is your direct family, and then next tier, who is your friends and other people, right? So I don't believe in helping other people when you're miserable, because you're going to be toxic and you're not essentially not going to help them. So you got to be healthy and your mindset to be able to help others. So first, my why is about getting better 1% every day. So it's about progress towards God knows when, but every day, if I could like stop and look back what I did and then realize, okay, I was progressing a little by little, even if there's no like exponential growth, I'm okay. That's one of my whys. Second is about my kids, right? Being able to provide something that's sustainable, regardless of what they want to do, right? In the end, well, I mean, people call it like a legacy or generational wealth, which is great. I don't know how far this can go after generation and generation. I remember Alex Morgi. I don't know if you know him. He said he doesn't care about generational wealth because like after a couple generations, they're gonna forget about me, right? So I thought about that too. Initially, I was thinking about creating generational wealth, but after hearing that, which is so true, like I don't even know about my grandfather's name, right? So I decided to have the idea of my generational wealth is up to my grandkids. As long as I could take care of my grandkids, that's fine. But I want to make sure I teach my kid so that they could take care of up to their grandkids, and then so forth and so forth, so that eventually that ripple effect could sustain the generational wealth idea, but I don't have to think about like 5 generations down the road, right? And lastly, the third why is being able to influence other people around me in a positive way. A lot of times I make mistakes and that hurt people, and I learned a lesson and got up and move on, right? So it's unavoidable as a human being to not to make mistake, but as long as I learn a lesson, get up and move on, and make sure that mistake doesn't happen again, and I think you're progressing, and through that you can influence in a positive way to other people. So these are my three whys that I share time to time.